Well, Greg, welcome to the program, and thanks as always for joining us. And unlike the North Island, you have had great weather. How is South Canterbury coping?
We're pretty good. I mean, it started to get a wee bit dry down towards the coast, in February, but we had a really good rain, 40, 50 mils. Was probably the whole province got it last week, so that sort of set us up hopefully the autumn. We get some follow-up. We're starting to get those sort of cold, dewy mornings, so autumn's not far away. So no, South Canterbury's looking really good, to be honest.
Where actually are you, Greg?
I'm up in the Fairlie Basin, sort of up towards Lake Apua.
Fantastic. And what is there a downside? Is there a chance of it getting dry, or other areas or parts of where you're at?
The upside is when it gets to dry, it's good for the cropping guys because they've got most of their crop in, which is good. All the harvest is done. But I honestly think the way we are at the moment, we're looking pretty good heading into autumn.
So what about your stock numbers and conditions?
Stock are very good. As I said, some of the younger stock struggled a bit earlier on in January because it was so wet. We had so much sort of rain, and they don't like that wet feed all the time. But stock are looking good now. They really are, and they're really starting to move on. Especially the prime lambs that are going to the works and that, they're starting to really do well.
And what about your winter feed? I suppose you had no need to use any supplementary, unlike the north and south of you, in Otago Southland. But you got plenty of feed about, no doubt.
We've got plenty of supplementary feed, like plenty of silage, baleage, and hay. Some of the winter feed crops, like kale and Swedes, probably aren't as flash as some farmers would like, mainly because it was just so wet around sowing time. Some of them got drowned out, and a few farmers have actually re-drilled. They've taken their crop out and started again with like a late rape or something.
Yeah.
But the crops that are on stonier ground have done really well. They're exceptional.
And what about points south? What about Otago Southland? They're looking at possible. I think this time last year it was declared a sort of a medium-sized adverse event because it was virtually a drought. Are you hearing reports from there that things are a bit tight?
Yeah, they're tight down there. Of course, like they sort of farm for regular rain down, especially Southland, but they are tight. They're tight for feed. They just haven't been getting any of those southwesters or northwest rains, which is, I feel for them because, South Canterbury knows what it's like to go without feed.
And what about your mates in the north, the colleagues in the north? Is there much talk down there about, helping out if it's at all possible?
The Federated Farmers Policy team up in the North Island, they've set up their adverse events team, and Julia Gaines is doing an excellent job. So we're talking sort of twice a week, all the provincial presidents in New Zealand, on how we can help them up there, trying to utilise the network we've got for getting. Well, at this stage, they don't need a lot of feed. They're better off putting the feed through the feed coordination service with the MPIs running. But later on, they're going to need feed probably, I would imagine. And the big thing's going to be the rebuild, starting to get the fences up again and helping them, clear away some of the silt and that. But that's probably a couple of weeks down the track, I would feel, because the ground's got to settle down before they start fencing.
Have you got any issues at all getting processing done, or where are your stock at, as it were? What's the timetable?
South Canterbury's pretty good. They're all up to speed. I think even Alliance might be looking for the Smithfield, and Curie might even be looking for a bit of stock, to be honest. They seem to be a bit active in the market again, which will be good because I think farmers are happy. I think finally the schedule's bottomed out. It can't go any lower, hopefully, so we might see a bit of a rise, especially with China sort of entering back into the market.
So things are looking pretty good in South Canterbury. Well, that's good. It's actually good to hear good news for a change, because the last 3 weeks it's all been pretty gloomy, really, hasn't it? It's been challenge upon challenge.
I really feel for those guys up north. I mean, we had those floods down here in May, but really only affected fencing infrastructure with us and a bit of silt and stone. It was serious for some farmers, but we didn't have the widespread damage that I've had, especially in the communities up there. It's horrible.